Hey everyone, if you saw my last video, we were talking a little bit about the negative aspects to social media, and I was encouraging everyone to consider taking a break from it or just spending less time on it. I decided to take my own advice. I've been spending a lot less time on Twitter and not even really spending a whole lot of time on Gab, and haven't been responding to any comments on YouTube, which I'm going to work on this weekend. But it's been really nice taking that step back and having more time for myself. But in having more time, I've been using it. We were talking in the last video about how social media can be a distraction from bettering yourself, from taking up a new hobby, or even, yeah, just like educating yourself. And so that's sort of where I've been at this past week, and what I've been doing is just taking more time to look more into manipulations, lies, just and I guess where I am right now is wondering, like, how far deep have you gone? How far deep are you going? I One thing I've noticed that I've seen as a common theme in people who are part of the walk away, not even like, I don't know if it's even, a campaign or a movement or whatever, but just in that, like, using it as just a phrase of speech. The people that I've talked to that have walked away from political divisiveness, or the left, or from Democrats, or from the far right, when you the common thing the common theme I've noticed in all of them is that when they start to question that one little thing, it seems to sort of open up the floodgates, and we all start questioning everything. And I guess that's where I'm at, is I guess I've moved past looking into the history of just the Democratic Party, or looking into the history of who we would all, like, the common historical assumption of you would consider maybe Nazis as being like far right, but when you really start to do a little bit more digging into them, they were socialists. And looking more into authoritarianism. And one of the things that I've been looking into, that I'm going to be very careful how I word it, but I've been looking a lot more recently into who I voted for in 2016, and looking into that family, looking into some of the things that family does, some of the things they continue to do. And that is incredibly eye-opening, and that can, even just making the decision to look further into the Clintons, can send you down so many different rabbit holes. I mean, just like case in point, I spent the whole day today reading about the deaths of Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, and how they could all be tied into the Clinton Foundation, and in through connections that they have, through information that they might have been uncovering, and out of concerns for myself and everyone involved. I'll just leave it at that, because the more you learn about that family, the scarier it is, and I definitely recommend people do that. Even I've been someone who has, I guess, had like a passing interest in conspiracy theories for most of my life, but recently, man, talk about lifting the veil of the lies you've been told, of the things you've been taught in school, and you really start to question you start to question everything. You start to question what your teachers and professors were telling you. You know, if I can sit here now as an adult and look at far left professors and you know, even actually gosh, and I wish I could find, oh, I'm not going to be able to find the video because it was a while back that I caught it, but there was even like a high school teacher who picked up the entire class, like got everyone in the class to get up and leave because one student was wearing a Trump hat. You know, so when you're seeing those sort of things today, it plants that seed and that kernel in your head of what kind of lies might I have been told when I was in school, and you know, what sort of agenda did my teachers have? Because I caught myself the other day in conversation with someone talking about that, and I tried to say, you know, well, I might be the last generation of people who had like an honest education, but did I really? I don't know. And then there's even like there's angles that I'm not ready to go on yet, you know. Like over on BitChute, I was having a conversation about flat Earth, and I know that there are some people that subscribe to my channel and who are here, you know, along on this journey, who are flat Earthers, and I don't personally go there. I'm not going there at this point in time, but I totally get people that do. And I don't think they should be ridiculed, and I you know, I'm happy to have a conversation about it, but to me, I see the rise of flat earthers as just a symptom, as a result of all of these lies and these manipulations that are coming out, and I see it as a very natural progression. You know, if you're starting to question the very history you were taught in school, to me it's not completely out of the realm of comprehension that someone would then in turn even question the very, you know, shape of the earth that they walk on. So I don't blame anyone for going down that route, and I'm it's unfortunate because, you know, a lot of flat earthers can't talk about it. So I understand if you don't want to talk about it with me, or you don't want to talk about it in the comments, you can email me at twofingersbourbon@gmail.com. But I just don't think that, you know, I come across people that make fun of them a lot, and I don't, even though I'm not there. I get it. And, you know, even like, you know, the things that you thought you knew, you know, the conspiracies that you thought you knew about, even those are starting to, you know, I'm starting to learn more things about them. Like, you know, just as one example, one of the first, you know, conspiracies that I ever really took an interest in was the Kennedy assassination. And, you know, even back then when I started looking into that, like, you know, 20 years ago as a teenager, when you initially start looking into that, I think the assumption is that he was assassinated because of his views on civil rights, and you know, you sort of take that answer as oh yeah, okay, you know, that makes sense, even if you take it further to the step of that he may have been assassinated by someone in the government or someone working on behalf of the government, and even then you go with the narrative you're told that it was because of his views on civil rights. However, now, you know, all this time later, I'm learning more things about that. Something that I thought, oh, I know all there is to know about that, and I looked into that, decades ago, and I can move on. I can't. There's a lot of people out there now that think that he was assassinated because he wanted to take down the Federal Reserve, and that he, there's a speech that gets floated around, and I think I'm going to quote it in the description and not not bog you down with it, but this part is this is the one part that's important. He's talking about that there's a conspiracy, there's a a monolithic conspiracy going on that sort of has a worldwide influence, and he says he said it was a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. So he called out everybody in power, and 2 years later he was assassinated. Did it have something to do with it? Could have. Did I know that back when I was a kid and I just believed that it was because he believed in equal rights? Even that answer, even that narrative in and of itself, isn't that just a way to spin you into thinking that, the right is bad, that this was a Democrat that was trying to, talk about civil rights and equality, and he got murdered by, racists and bigots. So, it's a rabbit hole that I think we go through when we start to walk away from all of this. And I guess the question that I think I'm asking myself, and I'm wondering if other people are asking themselves the same thing, and is, how deep do you go, and how do you not allow it to depress you? How do you not allow it to anger you? I mean, even it got to the point, and this is me kind of getting a little more personal than I was planning on, but I even got to the point where I think that the Walk Away Facebook group got infiltrated. And I don't know if it's because I've got my guard up and I've got my suspicions up, and I'm just in this place of not trusting anything anymore. But one of the reasons that I needed to leave was because I started to see so much arguments, so much arguing, so much negativity, so much triggering and trolling behavior. When I first started, there was maybe 100,000 people, and over the course of a couple months while I was a moderator, I saw it double in membership. And the things I saw had nothing to do with me as a moderator. It was just as a member. But what I noticed was that more and more there were a bunch of new users that were incredibly aggressive and mean and unnecessarily nasty. But they would do it in a way that was very thoughtful. So and I'm not someone who, I believe in getting a thick skin. I believe in, just letting all of that stuff roll off your back. So it wasn't that, but it was just like, and if you guys have noticed this, if you're part of the group and you've noticed this, chime in. If you haven't, if you think I'm crazy, you can tell me that too. But I started to notice all of these new users that would come in hard at people for no reason, and sometimes totally unrelated. I saw one where I believe the guy was like a police officer, or he was a veteran or something, and he was talking about walking away from the left, and someone went in and decided to make a comment that was really derogatory towards the police, and it had like nothing to do with his story other than it was his job. So this other commenter was just saying really awful things, police brutality and planted evidence and all, just no reason. There was no reason to. And all these other people were getting triggered by it and getting upset. And, rather than just letting it go and moving on, they would get, I would notice there were other new users that were getting so upset that they would start demanding the person get banned, demanding the person, the comment get deleted. So these are things I'd never seen before. Before it was a lot of support, a lot of positivity, and if you ran into a troll, most people would try to get through to them maybe once and then back off and leave them alone and let it go. But it just got me starting to feel like I didn't trust the members in the group anymore, and that's sad, and it sucks. And I met so many wonderful people in there, and there's lots of people that are amazing that are still in there, but there's a lot of new members in that group that I don't think are there for the right reasons. So just that, like, even places that are supposed to be safe, or supposed to be, somewhere that you can speak your mind, like social media, like we were saying, I just am starting to see it everywhere. And it's been a really interesting past few months, and I even, as I watch my boyfriend, who's going even further into it than I am, that the beauty of an autistic brain, when they latch onto something, they really go get into it hard. So he's just gone even further than I am. And I still wonder, like, am I not looking for farther enough? Am I not digging deep enough? Or am I doing everything I can while still trying to stay positive, and while still trying to kind of, hold on to sanity? I don't know. I don't know what to think about all of this, and I'd love to get all of your thoughts on it. I've been rambling. I've got a lot of stuff going through my head, and I thought it was time to finally sit down and make a video and open up about that, and open up about my own feelings of confusion, and just trying to find the truth. And even when you go looking for that truth, can you trust the information that you find? I don't know. And it's a pretty interesting ride.